The next thing that we are going to be replacing is the starter. So the very first thing I've done is taken off both terminals of the battery, and one of the wires that ends up going to this solenoid is a little tight. So what you want to do is you're going to have these little clamps and hold downs like this, and then not sure if you can see it, but all the way back there, they're 13 millimeter. What you want to do is actually take those off, and it will give you a little bit more slack to be able to take off the actual starter and get to it. All right, these were the bolts that were holding down the clamp. This was against the frame, the two parts of the clamp, and then the bolt. So now that that's loose, we're gonna crawl underneath the car and get to removing the starter. All right, now that I'm on the passenger side, what we're gonna wanna do is take off just these two bolts, and then we'll eventually be able to get to the wires up there. It is a 8 mil and a 13 mil off of that, but I'm gonna try and do these two first, right there, and these are going to be a 9/16. Spin it around, and then there we can see the two bolts that we need to get off. One is a 8 mil and one is a 13. Just the wire, and you can just drop the entire starter right out. One thing that I did want to point out between what looks to be the OEM one and the replacement is this little heat shield that comes on it. On the aftermarket one, or the replacement, you can see that the bolts that were on this one that hold on the heat shield are a lot shorter. So I took this off to see if it would match up, and they're significantly shorter. So for right now, I'm just gonna run it like this. If it ends up being an issue, I know how to replace it. It's not that bad, and I believe this actually has a warranty anyway. So we're gonna throw this back in, doing the exact opposite. So we're gonna put on the 13 mil first, the 8 mil, and then the two 9/16. All right, so again, we're gonna lift the starter up. Get the washer and bolt on the back side just to kind of hold it in place. It's really on there. Put that thing around. Then I'm making sure that this is going on the same way that it was when I took it off. You always want to make sure that you do that, because we accidentally did that on Chelsea's Miata, and we had wires that were crossed. So now that's in there, we're going to hit that with the 13. That's nice and snug. Now for the smaller wire, the little 8 mil. Bring this around. Washer, bolt. is in there. Now, we want to snake this back up and through. Making sure to avoid the wires. We're not going to pinch any. Twist. Push that back and then slide that right in. Now, I was gonna say with it there, it should be able to hold it, but I guess not. So let's line these up, get a bolt through. Good, almost done.
You got a bolt over here.
Yeah, that was actually the one I was looking for. Actually. That is the starter all installed. Now we're gonna go back, put the wires back to where we were. Well, actually before that, we're gonna hook up the battery and make sure that this is hooked up properly and starts. So let's test that now. All right, now that the battery's all hooked up, let's see if it starts. All right, here we go. Hey! Oh my God! It starts with the first try!
Sick!
Hey!
Do it again!
You want to start the car? Check this out. Now that everything works just fine, we're gonna go back in and put these bolts back down to hold the wires away from the engine.